let me turn on the light. I really need to get headphones because I'm using earphones and it's kind of small. Okay.
Such a bad thing, though. Some people prefer them. I used to use just earbuds for the longest time, too.
Oh, yeah. It's mostly just because I don't want to spend money on headphones. Okay.
Understandable.
All right, here we go. What's up, YouTube and Spotify and maybe Apple Podcasts? Only half of my episodes are showing up for there, and I don't know why, so you will eventually see this podcast. But I am Zara Khan, aka 5th Rate Duelist. I asked Twitter, I was like, who do we need to interview because I've run out of pro players, and I'm hitting the YouTubers now, and Twitter said, we want Gage, we want Nim Nim, and so we got him. He's kind enough to be here, and he was so responsible that he messaged me to remind me about it.
Were you gonna forget about it? Yeah, I like Zara says, like, she ran out of the pro players. Now we gotta get the poopy Yugi tubers. All right. Zara, thank you for having me on. I'm very excited.
Yeah, thank you. Now, I think most people know who you are, but do you mind, like, giving yourself, like, a little introduction or summary for anyone that doesn't?
Sure, yeah. My name's Nim Nim. I've been around the Yu-Gi-Oh scene for quite a little bit. I do vlogs on my YouTube channel. I stream, like, almost every other day or something like that, and I just enjoy playing the game and bringing people along with me.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. I know one big thing that you've done that, like, you're basically the star of it is the progression series. So do you want to talk a little bit about that before I ask some more questions about that?
Basically the star. I am the star of the show. You know it, Zara. Progression series is the series that I do on Simo's channel. With him, I co-host it. We go through every set in Yu-Gi-Oh's history. We open up a online booster box of it, add it to a collection, and then build decks every week, duel each other, and see who's better. Currently, the stats may show that I'm not better, but the stats, they lie, man. They lie. They're not true. But yeah, that's the series I do with Alex on a weekly basis. I love that guy to tears. He's my best friend, and yeah.
That's sweet. Yeah, I know, like, I've heard about progression series pretty late in, and then I just remember there was this point where it's like Simo had won just a ton, and he kind of, like, took on this persona of this, like, bad guy, and then you had the persona of the underdog, and I remember all these, like world-class duelists were helping you build a deck so that way you could beat Simo, which I thought was really interesting, and I was watching the streams and seeing that happen, and so I started watching it because I was rooting for you, and then you beat Simo, you just crushed him, and I was, like, so happy, and then the next episode, he had some anti-meta Necro Valley Macrocosmos freaking
don't
deck,
remind me.
and I was just like, and he won. I was so disappointed. I was just like, I can't watch this anymore. I want Gage to win.
Share if you play Gravekeepers, chat. Yeah, share if you play Gravekeepers.
But yeah, it was the age of Gage, as commonly said. But I think that kind of shows like the community really does root for you. Is my perception, as someone who's, like, not in the middle of it. And I feel like that's, like, a really good reflection on you, is that people were rooting for you and wanted you to win, and see Alex has, like, oh, he's kind of the bad guy, but we gotta root for Gage. So, how did that
that's
feel?
what I hope for. I hope that's a good thing that a lot of people do with most of Alex's, like, co-hosts for all of his different series. Like, it'd be kind of lame to, root for Alex 5 days a week on 5 different series. I'm going to say you got to have somebody else you got to root for. And I think I'm the guy that, no props to MBT, he's okay at the game, but I think I'm the guy that's most well-suited to be able to deal with Alex. So, and Season 2's coming around for Progression series. It's going to be an absolute slaughterhouse. I ain't losing a game.
And I'm guessing you can't talk about it, right?
We can talk a little bit about it. There's not too much to say about it that hasn't already been said. Like,
wait,
we're doing
before you answer, I have a question. So,
answer?
Season 1, does that mean you went through all the sets?
Yeah, Zara, you really haven't kept up. We are on Burst of Destiny next week.
Oh, wow. Wait,
yeah, we're done.
Did anyone play Drytron? Did anyone play Drytron?
No, we actually didn't have the side sets in Season 1. That's something we're implementing in Season 2. So since Genesis Impact isn't a core booster set, we weren't able to actually go through it in Season 1.
Oh, I didn't even know that. I
So
didn't even
season
know.
2, what we're doing in the next season, we're going to implement those side sets. So we're going to be able to see things like anything from Ancient Guardians, the Doremi chords, the Drytrons we'll be able to see. Any of those decks, it's going to be a completely different landscape. I think it's going to be very fun to kind of go back through all those other sets too and see what's new.
Oh man, are you gonna like keep the card pool that you already have, or are you just gonna have a new one?
Nope. Completely new, fresh card pool. So we're starting all the way back at LOB.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Well, in like 2 years when you get to Drytrons, like if you need a Drytron expert, I am not that, but I can still help you.
I'll absolutely hit you up, Zara. I'm just saying, with a couple hundred extra episodes, there's no way I come out with a losing record. Just physically not possible.
Yeah. Absolutely. Like one thing that like concerned me, like, is that I feel like people can be like a little mean to you and say things that are not nice, but one thing I noticed is that you always take it in stride type of thing. Like, you're still assertive, and you're just like, oh, it doesn't seem to bother you. You just seem to be a really good sport about it. But, like, are you okay? I just want to ask you, are you
okay? That's a really broad question. I'm great, Zara. No, the thing is, like, a lot of people like to rag on me for it, and I'm just so used to it. But, like, the thing is the one thing, like, I hope people, like, do it. I know a lot of my friends do it in jest and everything like that. And anybody that says, like, they're better than me, I can just tell them, shut up. Like, you're banned, I just ban them. But,
Yeah.
No, I mean, I just take it. It's just, like, there's no use getting mad over people I don't know and anything like that. I think I'm a pretty decent player. I try to continue to get better at the game. And, everybody makes mistakes, but I'm always learning. That's the big thing. And I never stop learning. For the 5 years I've been playing the game, I have not stopped learning things, so.
Yeah, definitely. Plus, you have had many accomplishments, like in Smitty's freaking little invitational. Didn't you get like second place or something like that?
I did get second. Yeah. I mean, as far as accomplishments go, that's actually like really my only thing there. I have like a regional top. But, like, other than that, like, for as long as I've been playing the game, I have no credentials, Zara. You've got more credentials than me, and your credentials are well-earned, by the way, too. You're a fucking killer player.
Oh,
I don't know if
thank you
anybody's
so
told you that recently, yeah, but, no, shredding with those Drytrons, always.
Yeah, chat makes fun of me. I asked him the other day when I was, like, in the middle of coming off on Drytron. I was like, chat, is this boring? And half of them were like, yes, this is very boring. We want you to select another deck. And so I was like, okay, I'll see what's up. But, yeah, it's definitely, like, been really interesting to get into the competitive side myself. And, are you going to do the remote dual YCS this weekend?
No, so the thing is I'm a big advocate for remote duels, and like that's the thing that I do on stream every week. I always try to tag somebody in from the community just to play. But I have yet to actually participate in any of the sanctioned events for remote duels because I've heard they're just a miserable experience. Like I've heard anybody that's played it says it's something you should try, but everybody that I've talked to says it's been like just a miserable day. And I don't know if I've asked you about it personally, but like people that I've talked to, like Joseph and everything, they don't recommend it. So I'll take my time, enjoying the Skype duels and everything that I do on stream and everything, just having a good time with it. Because I do think it's a fun medium to play. You get to play people that you don't normally get to play. But as for the sanctions and stuff and taking it seriously, I think there's a lot of different like risks that are involved with playing like in a remote YCS, the cheating, the tryhards and everything like that it makes it kind of a little bit more toxic to play in a sanctioned environment.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you guys have heard me say many bad things about remote duels. I like remote duel locals, those are dope, but when it comes to, like, the regionals, extravaganzas, and freaking YCSs, I've had many, many weird experiences, because the thing is, when you're in a Discord call, it's just you and your opponent, unless the judge is there, and people get weird, and, yeah, my mental state has been severely harmed by past big remote duel events, but I will be doing the YCS because,
Good luck in the YCS. Yeah, I mean, like we were saying, though, I feel like when there's less on the line, it's a more enjoyable experience because you're not really, like, cutthroat with your opponent. You're just able to enjoy their company and, the experience of being able to duel remotely, where you're not actually, like, trying to, like, shark people or make sure like you're winning and everything like that. When it's just for fun, when you're just reminding yourself why you're playing the game, it's a completely different experience.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, it's always been fun dueling you. I think we're tied right now or something like that.
I think we are too. We got a score to settle, yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm always down to get clapped by Gage. So hit me up. So we do have a question that we ask everyone here, but I'm wondering if you can tell me what's the best advice you've received and what's the best advice you've given.
Oh my. I think the best advice I've ever received, and it's the one that I still like follow, is like practice like you play. Like that's the big thing. Like a lot of people, when I play them and they want to play for fun, like they just like they'll make these bad plays or they won't think through everything. And I'm always trying to play at like the top of my game because I want to like always like try to push my opponent farther. The one thing that I always tend to do is I like to money match people, or at least put something like a value, even if it's like $1 on the line, because people tend to play differently when there's something on the line. Like you said, for remote duels and everything like that, that really shows in remote duels when you get the scummy stuff. But when you're in just a regular setting where you're sitting across from somebody, if you can get them to like put something on the line, they'll try harder. And I feel like that's like getting people to try at the top of their game. That's the big thing. So like practicing like you play, just always at the top of your game. That's the fun thing. The best advice I've given, I think that's like more objective, right? Like I'd have to try to ask somebody like that I know what advice I've given. Let's come back to that one. I have to think about that one.
Okay. We will take a break from that to talk about another one of your series, which I think has been pretty transformative, the sealed-only Yu-Gi-Oh! Series, right? Would you mind explaining that for anyone who doesn't know what that is?
Yeah, it's weird to think how long ago that was, but it's a series that I actually concluded a couple years ago, where the premise of the sealed-only Yu-Gi-Oh! Series was to build a Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck only out of cards that you pull yourself from sealed product. So, like, there's no trading, you can't buy singles or anything like that, just using the products that Yu-Gi-Oh! Gives you to build the best deck possible, and then eventually taking it to a YCS and seeing how it performs. That was the whole kind of the inception of the series there.
Okay. And did you like come up with that idea yourself, or were you inspired by something else?
No, so actually, this is the funniest thing. It's like I tell it all the time, but the idea didn't come from myself. It was in tandem with Mr. Simo himself. Actually, you'll see a lot of the things we do together. We tend to share a lot of ideas. But this idea we came up with through we love old school RuneScape. That's the one game that we end up playing when we need to like kick back and just decompress. Alex and I will always hop onto RuneScape and see what's up. And there was a series that this guy launched where he did an Ultimate Iron Man account, which is like you can't trade, you can't bank, you're on your own. And he locked himself into one area of the game. And he tried to build this account in this one area to complete the hardest content in the game.
Okay.
So eventually he did that and everything. That's like not the point of it. But Alex and I were talking. We were like, how can we take this like thing where you have to do it on your own? You have to do everything by yourself. There's no help. And then like kind of take that and put it into Yu-Gi-Oh! And then Alex was the one that brought it up. He's like, hey, like, what if you just try to like build a deck out of only sealed product? And then we laughed. We're like, oh, that's gonna be super expensive. And I was like, wait a minute, like Yu-Gi-Oh's kind of like poised to be the perfect game for this, because you have like your structure decks, which you can normally, like people say, you can buy 3 of and you can play a competitive deck out the box. And it's like, well, that's pretty cheap too. Like, how do we build on top of that from there? And it ended up like Yu-Gi-Oh is like the perfect one to be able to do this kind of like limited format. I think it's a limited format. That's what we should call it. The limited format with. So that's where the whole idea came from, is all from an old school RuneScape video. The guy's name is Settled.
Oh, the guy's name was Settled.
Yeah, his name is Settled. That's the content creator's name. He in the series was Swamp Redox, if anybody knows it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's interesting. Like, I just know that you were basically the first one to do it in the Yu-Gi-Oh community, and now there's like 50 billion sealed only series and like spin-offs and stuff like that, and that's just something that a lot of people are really interested in. And so I think that's kind of cool. Like, you basically were a pioneer in the community in that respect. You and Alex, for sure. So yeah. Okay, the next question is Redox Pass ?
Yeah, that's one of those inside jokes.
Okay, yeah.
So I'll keep you on the progression series. I'll keep you in the loop. There's Redox Dragon Ruler of Boulders is the most played card in any of my decks. I always happen to throw it in. And so the most powerful play in the game is banishing 2 to summon Redox and then passing turn because it has 3,000 defense, Zara. Little do you know, that's unstoppable. 3,000 defense is a hard wall to topple.
Oh, I see. Yeah. It's interesting because the first time I played was about 10 years ago around Dragon Rulers. So, like...
You picked a hell of a time to start playing the game then. Oh,
and you know what I played with? I played with my Merrick structure deck. Like,
hell yeah. Necro Valley's too good.
Yeah, all my cards... I didn't even use sleeves at the beginning. All my cards are just bad. And then, I played for a couple of months and then kind of just dropped it and came back 8 years later. And I brought the same Gravekeepers deck 8 years later.
We are so happy to have you back.
It was funny because I would beat people just with Necker Valley. Like, there were like some Thunder Dragon players that I played against, and they just couldn't handle it, and I beat them.
Funny.
And then
that is funny.
Paired against the best player at my locals, and he was playing Orcust, and I beat him game 1. And everyone's just like, who the hell is this girl? Like, she's playing stuff like Fiendish Chain and Solemn Warning. And,
don't be ragging on Solemn Warning though. Solemn W is insane.
So yeah, it was interesting. I'd say I've grown a little bit from that point.
Just a tad bit.
We have another question from Twitter. What knowledge or skills have been most impactful for your competitive Yu-Gi-Oh experience and success?
What knowledge and skills? Trying to think of the one thing that has stood out the most. I don't know if there's a particular ruling or anything. Just like playing through multiple formats of the game allows me to experience like complicated rulings that would show up later on in the game. So I think just being involved in the game for as long as I have has helped a lot because I'm able to like draw parallels to rulings back in the day. And then I'm able to like also, I just feel like I said, I'm always learning something too. So just being constantly involved in the game allows me to like understand more about it. And I feel like just understanding rulings and everything, getting a good grasp on rules, definitely helps out when being a player. Like the one thing that I used to do is I feel like if you don't study the game or something like if you don't study like the entire format and stuff, there's a lot of soft cheating that happens, and I do it too myself. Yeah. But like if you start to understand every deck and learn, you can start to pick out those things too, because you know how the deck plays as well. So if your opponent would try to do something small that would maybe change the course of a game, you would understand it there too. So just constantly like being in the loop, learning every deck and everything like that, just being versatile. That's the big thing I think that a lot of people should take to heart there is, even if you got a pet deck, don't be afraid to get out of the loop and just learn something else.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's correct. Though I didn't become fully attached, but I did try women in bird costumes and Flenderies nuts and Invoked. I made it back to Drytron, but whatever. Who cares? Yeah.
Full circle, baby.
One thing is that recently on my fundraiser stream, we did some dudes from who were really into Edison format, Ed, and Edison. I hit them up and said, teach me Edison. I'm too lazy to learn by myself, and they said sure. And so we made a deck. We made a Gravekeepers deck, and then we played. But I just remember, like, I just feel like it was such a mind shift, like, going from current format to thinking about, like, a format from, like, 10 years ago or whatever it was. So, like, have you felt that, too, whenever you're switching from formats, or how's that for you?
Well, I think the big thing is anybody that looks back and plays like GOAT format understands the game is completely different back then too. The thing is, I feel like I joined the game, I started playing the game at Wind Up and Zector format, which was a really crucial kind of change in the game at that point. I feel like a lot of decks were getting more streamlined and archetyped. So like I feel like there's a pre-XYZ era, which is Edison format pretty much. Anything before that, the game is a completely different thing. And the one thing actually, if you want to know what's funny, is I think one of the big things that influences that is the existence of like turn player priority. So have you been taught about like priority in GOAT format and how it works with like ignition effects? Yeah. So I actually think when it comes to deck building and judging how good cards are back in the day, like you can look at a card like Book of Moon now, and Book of Moon is still good today, but back in the day the card it just couldn't do as much. It was good back in the day, but like doing basic things like Book of Mooning a monster that had an ignition effect like Tribe infecting a virus, it really like made the card not as good. And then you saw like after priority came away, like a card like Book of Moon became absurd. So I feel like just the existence of priority, looking back on the like older retro formats, it does create like a huge skill gap because it is something that's completely different than what you're used to now. But I think understanding priority from back in the day for those old school formats really makes it a completely different vibe for the game.
Yeah, definitely.
Because then you have things like like I saw like the other day too when I was in Cali with Pac and one of my other friends, and they were playing an Edison format mirror. And he was playing Lightsworn, and the biggest play back then, dude, I was like, it's gonna happen one time this duel. He's gonna go Judgment Dragon, Priority, and just wipe the board. And Pac had like a bottomless set back there too, and like that works through bottomless and everything. So it's just like these interactions that wouldn't show up in today's game were game defining back in the day. It's really cool.
Yeah, definitely. I know when I played like afterwards when we talked about it, he's like, you could have won, but I had bottomless and I had a Book of Moon, but I was waiting for like something, like I didn't want to waste the bottomless on just some random monster. Like I was waiting for something bigger. And then like because I was waiting for something bigger, because that's how I think now, it's like, is this immediately a threat? If not, then I'm probably not going to gate it. But like that's not how it worked back then. Like you something might not seem that threatening, but it could become threatening later. So that was something I had to learn. So yeah.
Yeah, the older format's definitely completely different than what you're used to now. And I think that's part of the fun of it too. It's like it's a lot of things like so I was talking about it at work today too, like when people explore oral formats and figure them out. Like Edison and stuff, like people, I don't think Fish OTK was something that was in anybody's radar until they went back on the format and saw that it was a real thing. I think that's the coolest thing ever. I think that like being able to enjoy older versions of the game and go back and perfect them, that's so sick. Like what was the one thing? I wonder if anybody in chat knows. There's like this 80% consistent FTK and GOAT format or something like that nobody knew about back then, but somebody figured it out like today. And it's the dumbest thing ever. It's like, it's deadly consistent too. But like just something like that, like the wackiest shit like that, like that people can still go back and figure out. It's really cool. It's really inspiring.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool. Like coming back, playing Gravekeepers again, and I don't know, seeing something that I didn't see 10 years ago. That would be really cool, for sure. Yeah. I'm still, like, I just want Gravekeepers to get support again. Like, I really love that deck.
Don't we all? That deck is silly, though. The day Necro Valley gets good again is the day I cry. Oh, my Necro Valley, bro.
Yeah, I freaking love Necro Valley. I mean, it just won me games coming back, which I feel is a good thing, because if I just got completely slaughtered, like, every time I went, I think that would be very, discouraging, but you know, it gave me a little bit of hope, and now I'm addicted to this game, so thank you, Gravekeepers, for ruining my life. Okay, we have some people wondering when you're gonna do a series with Mr. Joseph Rothchild.
Whenever I start uploading to YouTube, I'll keep you in the loop. I don't know. I would always just hit up Joseph whenever. I don't think I need to do a series with him. I just hit him up for anything whenever. I don't even know, dude. He's already booked on series, I think, or something like that. So maybe someday. I'll talk to the goober.
Yeah. I think, I don't know. Like one thing I always thought is cool. Like I don't know if they're official rules, but one time I did a tag duel with 3 people at my locals, and so I thought it'd be cool if it's like, you know, 4 YouTubers get together and do some sort of like tag duel type of a thing. I think that would be interesting. But I also don't know the rules to tag duel.
They have the 3v3 events, and I think that's like the most closest thing. As for tag duels with 2 people, they do have official rules for them, but I don't think there's any tournaments for it or anything like that. That'd be cool though. Okay,
yeah. And chat has like 5 people that chat wants you to join our Unstoppable Tide of Islam. Me Farfa MBT.
Oh yeah.
It's our affirmative action initiative to balance it out so it's not all Muslim people. So welcome. You can join us.
Yeah, perfect. I'll be glad to be a part of it. Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Do you have any plans for a second season of Sealed Only?
Yeah. I was thinking maybe with the Albaz structure deck that might be a good time. I'm just waiting for a really actually solid structure deck that I feel like I can. The one big thing is trying to find ancillary product, like anything like a core set or something that ties really well in with a structure deck. Like the thing is like if I do the Albaz structure deck, I'm gonna have to try to find product from like what, maybe Rise of the Duelist or something like that, which is gonna be hard to get something like that. But
Yeah.
like just making sure like I can actually physically get product to be able to wrap around a structure deck, I think is the big thing. I think Albaz might be the time to do that, but there are plans to eventually do it, but I don't know exactly when.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the Albaz structure deck. It looks like it's going to be pretty powerful. It looks like it's going to be like another like Salamangreat. Like those structure decks are basically like competitive. You just needed to add freaking sign-up mining and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So Albaz gives me those type of vibes.
I hope so, yeah. Then I think the last time we saw something like that was like Monarch. That Monarch structure deck is fierce back in the day. That was crazy.
Oh yeah, I can only imagine. I lost to Monarchs the other day.
That's sad. Did they activate Domain on you though? The field spell?
Yeah, they had the field spell. They tributed my monsters. They summoned Vanity's Fiend.
Oh,
and,
gross.
Yeah, it was just a lot happening, and I wasn't familiar with the cards, so I didn't really know when to interrupts. And actually, no, we ended in a draw. Because game 2, I was trying to figure out how to play against this deck or something like that. I don't freaking know. Yeah, but yeah. Let's see. So, I just want to share someone saying something on Twitter. They say that you are an actual inspiration because you have this like level of sportsmanship that we kind of already talked about. And so they said that they find it inspiring that you're a quote unquote amazing loser, which they mean in the nicest way. So I just wanted to share that with you.
That's very flattering. I take it as a compliment. Thank you.
Yeah, and I don't even think it's a backhanded compliment, even though it sounds exactly like a backhanded compliment. I think it's just a whatever. Let's see. Martin, who actually goes to my locals, wants to say hi. No way. Yeah.
Martin, what a stud, dude. That's a stud right there.
He's
tell
great.
Him hello.
Yeah, it was nuts because first time I went to that locals, I was like wearing a mask, I was sitting alone, and then he comes up to me and he's like, "Oh, are you who I think you are?" And I was like I never had that experience before, so I just didn't know what to say. And he's like, "Are you fifth rate duelist?" And I was like, "Shh, be quiet, man." And then we became good friends. So yeah,
it's the most flattering thing. I love it. That Martin, he's such a stud.
Yeah, super, super, super great guy. Yeah. Okay, that's enough Twitter questions. We will go to my questions now. When you started playing the game, were you like really good at first? Were you really bad? Like what?
Oh, I was not good at all. No, it was so I originally played the game, I think like every kid did. Like I just on the playground and stuff. But when I actually got back into playing like and trying to understand competitively, it's when my older brother started playing again. And he was getting really serious into it. And I wanted to be like my older brother. So he took me to locals and everything. And I played this garbage Watt deck. I played a Watt lock deck and it was terrible. It was terrible, Zara.
Oh, man.
And I don't think it took me until like a solid like maybe I want to say like 2 years after I started playing the game as a teenager to actually start like understanding how to get better at it and start like taking it seriously and understanding deck building and stuff like that. I think it took me a while like that. But no, when I first started playing, I was garbage at the game. And the thing is I blamed everybody else for why I was so bad at it. I was always like, oh, you know, sharing those bad beats. Like, I only lost because he drew this, and if I drew this and stuff like that. But that's just not the case. The case was I was a shitty player. But eventually, you know, you learn. You get a little better. You start to figure out what's good and kind of get your grounds. So, yeah, when I first started out, not at all good. But I think I learned a little bit here and there.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see, when I came back with my Gravekeeper deck, I kept, like, royal tributing people, but, like, I think the first guy I did that to was playing Shadalls, so everything got activated.
Punished! No!
And then
you're like, whoa.
The other guy I played against played Pendulums, and I didn't even know what Pendulums were, and, yeah, I got sloshed, stuff like that, walked away feeling, like, pretty bad. I was definitely terrible. But what's interesting is that all the pro players that have been on this podcast said, yeah, when I started, I was garbage at this game. Like, everyone sucked. It's just with work you can get better type of thing.
I don't think anybody, like, immediately can join this game and be gifted at it. Like, I feel like even if you come from a different card game, like people that have played Magic the Gathering or something like that, I feel like if you try to transition to this game, a lot of the things don't really translate from that. And I feel like maybe, like, you won't understand a lot of the intricacies with Yu-Gi-Oh! That might not be the same with, like, Magic or Pokemon or something like that.
Yeah, definitely. I remember I went to the locals on a Magic night, which was one of the biggest mistakes of my life. And there were like 5 dudes that were trying to convince me to, like, convert to Magic, and I was just like, I don't want to. And they're like, no, it's basically the same. If you can play Yu-Gi-Oh, you can play Magic. And I was like, but does it have the Dark Magician Girl? No. And then I left because I'm like, I don't want to be in this position anymore. But yeah.
Magic is fine. Like, I enjoy it casually and everything like that, but I don't think I could ever take Magic seriously. I tried at one point. I was like, maybe I could do this, but it just doesn't have the same what's the word I'm looking for? Like, luster as Yu-Gi-Oh. I just love Yu-Gi-Oh. I don't know. It's like I grew up with it. That's my jam right there. So
I do like Yu-Gi-Oh too. I think, like, I also have very strong attachment to, like, the anime, and I don't have that for Magic, and I don't like the artwork for Magic. It's like too realistic. I like freaking IP Masquerena on a motorbike. That looks nice to me. You don't have that in Magic.
Yu-Gi-Oh's art. I really like Yu-Gi-Oh's art, but actually, the one thing that does get me is Magic's old art. Like, if you go to their old sets, though, like, some of the card art there, it's stuff that just wouldn't fly today, and it's some of it's just some gorgeous pieces too. Like, people really put hard work into those cards, and you could tell. Nowadays, it's all like everything I feel is like the CGI. It's all like that futuristic, humanoid looking art. But like back in the day, like that the old school Magic cards, if you look at them, there's really nothing that comes close to it. They're truly, like, iconic.
Oh yeah. I just know a lot of those old cards can be, like, super expensive.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like, my shop, someone sold them a Black Lotus, which, for, I don't know how much. I think it's worth, like, $20,000 or something like that.
It depends on the kind of Lotus, but yeah, there's a whole bunch of different Lotuses, and whichever Lotus version he had, it was one worth multiple thousands of dollars. Very cool. Very awesome relic.
Yeah. I'm friends with the staff, and they're like, Zara, do you want to hold it? And I was like, no, I don't want to be anywhere
You're like, I'm
near
not
that
worthy.
thing.
I'm not worthy.
Yeah, I mean, like, I buy, like, the cheapest versions of cards. I'm not, like, a rarity hoe, as they affectionately refer to it. But, yeah. PSA 10 Lotus was worth 6 figures last I checked. Wow. Yeah, the most expensive Yu-Gi-Oh card I have is a Ghost Rare Stardust that my friend got me for my birthday for $30. Like,
that's pretty hot too, though. Honestly, Ghost Rare Stardust Dragon. That's tough.
Yeah, and so, like, I didn't even know it was worth anything. I was, like, carrying it in my trade binder, and, like, people kept, like, asking about the card and, like, offering stuff, and I was like, no, it was a birthday gift. I can't give it away. And then one day I found out it's worth, like, $500, and I was like, oh, that's why everyone wanted it. And I don't think anyone offered me $500. I think they offered me much less. So, yeah, be careful, that's all I could say.
Oh, yo, whoa. Vicious just gifted me a sub. That's hella sick. Let's go.
Thanks for the subs, Vicious. Sweet. I wonder
Vicious,
if it was, like,
you.
random, or if he, like, did it, was it random, or did he pick? Oh my god, it was random, but you got it anyway.
It was random. That's hilarious, yo. It's so funny.
Oh my god, Dark Side, thanks for the gift sub. Pack got yet another.
Oh, that bozo Pack got it. Isn't that bozo Pack live right now? Say less, bro. There's no way. Oh no, he logged off. Yeah, so funny, bro.
Oh man. Okay. So if you didn't get one, you have to say dodged, or you're banned, bro.
It's the rules. It's just the rules.
Yeah, definitely. So, out of all the decks you play, like, which ones are your favorite decks?
My favorite decks? Oh man. There's a few decks that, like, really stand out to me. One of my favorites of all time was, like, Nekroz format, full power Nekroz. The mirror match of that deck was actually so fun to play. That's a really cool one. That and, like, the mirror match of, like, full Zodiac format was also a really, really cool one to enjoy. As for, like, favorite decks of all time, though, obviously Sky Strikers is a deck that I've picked up in max rarity, and it's one that I always fall back to. It's just a deck that continues to be good, and it's a lot of fun to play. What else, man? What else was ones that I really, really messed with?
You put the Gage in Engage.
You know it. That you know it. I guess as like a. Yeah, I mean that's really like my favorite deck. I think Madolche is like one of my second go-tos that I'm really fond of. I do like Madolches. But I think my favorite decks of all time are based on formats. I really don't have just like a pet deck that I always go back to. Like I enjoyed a whole bunch of formats, and I play like all the top tier stuff from the format. I think the one deck that I ended up spending the most time with was like Trickstar Sky Striker. I think somebody brought that up. That's a deck that I spent a lot of time with in Toss format.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I returned to the game in Toss format, which was quite a shock.
Yeah, Toss format's a good format to play too. I think looking back on it, that's one of the better ones.
Yeah, but it was very painful to play against Sky Striker. The Gravekeepers didn't do anything to them, so yeah, it happens. Yeah, but I don't know. I would like to go back. Like, if I were to go back to Toss, I think I would pick up Thunder Dragons.
That'd be cool. Thunder is a really cool deck to play back then.
Yeah, definitely. I never saw a Thunder Dragon player because I always had Negra Valley, but since then I've like watched the deck play out and I'm like, that is really cool. I ended up like picking up Salmon Great, but I had to play a budget build, so like instead of Sign It Mining, I was playing like Sign It Backdoor, and it just like wasn't working. And it was just really hard for me. Like, it's kind of a combo deck, and it was too much. I couldn't figure it out, type of a thing. And I didn't have anyone to play with. I didn't really have friends in the community, so I would just go to locals and lose. So, then I took the break until about a year ago when I started Road to YCS. So, yeah.
We're happy to have you back. I think, well, for what it's worth, I think if you go back and you try to learn Salmon Great, it is one of the easier decks to learn in that format. So if you ever wanted to learn Toss format, Zara, hit me up. I'll build a pretty sick Orcus list. We'll go hard with it.
Okay, cool, yeah. I think at this point I can pilot a Salad deck pretty well. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I actually built the deck. But then I was like, wait, like, I'm not winning all the time. I don't want to play this deck anymore. But I think, it would be interesting to do like Salad versus Orcus. In fact, we need to have we did duel, but like everyone on this podcast I duel with. So maybe we could do a Salad versus Orcus duel.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to throw something together for a different day, and I'll absolutely clapatron you with some retro stuff like that. I feel like that'd be fun, yeah. Take some time, learn some Salad. I'll brush up on my Orcus plays. Over for you, Zara.
Okay,
it's over for you.
And then just let me know what Banlist is the correct one.
Sure.
I don't know what is
sure.
correct.
I'll keep you in the loop for sure. Yeah.
That'd be fun. Because my YouTube, like, they complain that I play Drytron too much. And I just, like, I'm sorry. Like, I don't know what to do.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. You gotta play to win. Those Trons are still good today.
Thank you for saying that. Yeah, I was talking to Cody Angela. He's like, he said something bad about Drytron. I was like, what the hell? You've been working with me on my Drytron list for like weeks. And he's like, well, yeah, you're comfortable with it. And I was like, God damn it. Long story short, be sure to subscribe to Cody Angeloff on Metafy for very good coaching. I know that wasn't a good endorsement, but I mean it in a nice way.
Very solid, well-rounded coaching.
Yes. No, I've learned a lot from him. I kind of think, like, because of his help is why I've managed to, like, have the quote-unquote accomplishments that I've had. So, yeah, that's what's up. Let's see. So what was your reaction when Engage went to 1?
Oh my god, I loved it. I was freaking out. Oh my, I was like, yo, Striker, best deck again. I remember I played day of release, day of the unban. I played Farfa on stream with the Striker deck. I plugged in that Engage, and I waxed him. I 2-0'd him. He was mauling. He was upset. He's like, I have to deal with a whole nother format of this again. Turns out it wasn't even the best deck during that format, but he was still upset, and that felt so good. I was riding that high. I still ride that high out to this day.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, great card. Oh my god, I can't wait for it to come back to 3. Next list, baby.
I can wait for that. I can wait. I don't know. I don't have a very good Sky Striker matchup. I really don't. So, what can you do? But I have gotten better, and like the more I learn about the deck, like the more like I'm interested in it. Like someone did tell me that they didn't think I should learn the deck because they think it's too advanced for me. And I was like, oh, thanks for the feedback. And then I was like, wait a second. I don't think I like that feedback. Like, why wouldn't I be able to learn Sky Striker? It's not like I'm, like, freaking...
Yeah, it's not that I don't think the deck is difficult. It just doesn't play like any other deck. It plays, like, definitely very different than any other deck, too. I feel like anybody can learn it. You just got to put a certain amount of time into figuring it out.
Yeah, definitely. But we'll see what's up. I am not looking to really spend... more money on decks until Drytron gets slapped around again. But I don't think it will, because I'm like one of 8 Drytron players in the world. So yeah. Okay. So if you could give any suggestions to people, kind of based on your experience and even on your series that you've done, like how can someone get better at the game if that's something they're into?
Honestly, just playing out of your comfort zone. Like the one thing that I've tried to teach people how to play the game is I've had several friends come into the game and they would try to play with their own like kitchen table kind of rules. Like there was these friends that were coming into the shop, and there was this one guy I went to high school with, and he was like, yeah, we're playing and everything, and he knew that I was really into the game, and he's like, well, the thing is they don't want to play hand traps because they feel like they're unfair. And I was like, well, why do you think they're unfair? And they're just like, oh, there's no way to respond to them. And I'm like, well, there is if you build your decks around them. Like that's part of the fun of the game. So I feel like one of the thing is just as for like advice, just being like getting out of your comfort zone. Like if you stay with that friend group of just playing, you could be the best of that friend group, but then you step outside and you're gonna get your ass kicked by somebody else at a local or something like that. So just being able to like go to somebody that's better than you and say, hey, let's run a few. Like just playing people that you think are better than you until you can actually beat them or at least understand what they're different. So I think just playing as much of the game as you can, playing people that are better than you, and then like reviewing your play, understanding like maybe why you did wasn't correct, and like review. I think review is the big thing that I'm still learning too. Is like sometimes like it's just so easy to maul and get upset over like a loss or something, but maybe just reviewing the play and saying like, oh, I could have did a lot of things differently, and understanding what would have happened if you would have did those differently is another thing too. So reviewing your play, and then just keeping at it, playing people that are better than you. I think those are some of the big things that really help you improve.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I mean, that's like the whole reason I started this podcast, is like I wanted an excuse to talk to people who are better than me, and I really wanted an excuse to duel them. Just like a friendly duel to see, so I can learn. And after the duel, all these pro players would like stop and give me advice, and it was just something very, very valuable. That, I had to fabricate a podcast in order to get that experience. But, like, there's always going to be people who are better than you. I know there's this one dude that, at my locals, that, like, I've heard was a really good player. I've never played against him. And then, the other day, I just yelled at him, hey, you, I want to play against you. And he said, sure, but I'm playing against someone else. And I was like, but after we will play. And he's like, yeah, that's fine. And so I think it's just a matter of kind of going out and asking people.
Just being comfortable enough to ask people, or like even just admitting that people are better than you too. That's like something that's all difficult for some people, is like to say like, wow, this person's like actually better than me, rather than just making up excuses. But sometimes just being like, humility is like the best thing. Just understanding like, okay, maybe I'm not the best, but what makes this person better than me? Just being able to take a step back and kind of analyze like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's totally great. I think reviewing plays is really good too. I mean, that's stuff I'll do with Cody. Like, I'll save a replay from Dueling Book, and then we would kind of go through the plays, and he'd be like, oh, why'd you do this? Or you could have done this differently, or things like that. Or I'll do it by myself, and I think that's been really beneficial. Yeah. Chat is going wild right now. It's kind of hard to keep up. They're talking about floodgates for some reason.
That's what I'm reading. Yeah, they're just talking about floodgates right now.
Is this because I brought up Necker Valley? Like, I'm sorry. I just really like Gravekeepers.
Best floodgate in the game.
I just adore that deck. But yeah, it's just not really viable right now. Is there a deck you like that you wish was more competitively viable?
Windups. Yeah, I wish windups had like they've got some killer cards. Like if anybody's read their Link monster, their Link 2 is unreal. Like that card is just absolutely ridiculous. But like for some reason, like windups just aren't there. I feel like they just need the carrier. Give them back the carrier to 1 and we're okay.
Oh man, I do remember windups. I think I played against some many years ago. I actually played freaking, was it Zenmighty in my Gravekeepers deck? To, like, recycle my spies or something like that. It's like the Book of Moon, and then end phase flips it or something.
There's Zen mains, which Zen mains will, if it would be destroyed, you detach one, and then during the end phase it pops a card.
Yeah. That's a little free.
Zen mains was broken back in the day. Zen mains was sick.
Oh yeah, that one was a very problematic card for sure. Yeah, but yeah. All right, so. It is January 13th right now, meaning that there's something around the corner, who knows when, something called the Banlist. Do you have any Banlist predictions?
I normally don't even like to predict the ban list. I kind of just go with whatever happens, because predicting, it's like there's only so much you can do. The one thing that I do want, though, if I want anything gone, I want Scythe gone. Like, I think Artifact Scythe is ridiculous. That and, like, it's pretty controversial. I think Predaplant Verde Anaconda needs to go too. I'm already getting tired of seeing like destroy Phoenix Enforcer every game I play.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are like the only two big things. As for things that come off and stuff like that, I don't really care. Like, yeah, it's fun to see like stuff come off the list, but there's no way to predict it.
Yeah, definitely. I think we're all very familiar about my feelings towards Mystic Mine, so yeah. I just want that guy that gone. But I don't know. I feel like Scythe is just like, I feel like there's like a lot of cards that just are like win buttons. So like freaking what's that trap the birds play? The Harpies one?
Oh, Featherstorm. Yeah, Featherstorm is absurd.
Yeah, so that's nuts. I did have a funny experience where someone said he summoned 2 recitals, which were wins, and he set 1, which I figured was Featherstorm. And so I was like, anything before main phase? And he said, nope. And then I Lava Gold, and then he quit the duel. It was so good. Lava Gold.
Bye. Bye. Somebody else also brought it up, too. IO. Yeah, Imperial Order needs banned, too.
Yeah, there's this Sword Soul player I played against many times. I beat him every time, but last night he did beat me. And it was just because of Imperial Order, because he just had Baron and Imperial Order and ended his turn. And then I had a bunch of spells. I was ready to go full combo, but he flipped the IO and I couldn't do anything.
Yep.
So
that's good enough. Good enough.
But when I was in Denver, I played IO in my deck, and every time I played it, I won. But it's that instant win button type of thing. And Scythe, I feel, might be an instant win button as well.
I feel like there's a lot of ways to deal with Scythe, but most of them are like in the side deck, like playing like Cosmic Cyclone or something like that.
Yeah. Or Droplets or something like that. So yeah, but I really don't like mine. Plus, I heard of like a freaking Prank Kids like mine build where they just loop Rocket Ride or whatever the hell, the one that attacks.
Yeah, it's a spooky list. It's like Prank Kids with the Brave engine and stuff like that. I'm not looking forward to that. I think that deck is gonna be insane. Deck's gonna be really cool.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see what's up. There's not much I can really. I mean, I tweet at Konami, like, when I'm bored, I will just tweet, hey, have you guys thought about banning Mystic Mine today? I think it would be great. Or like, hey, Konami, you're looking great. You know what would make you look even better? If you banned Mystic Mine.
They would be so handsome. Oh, Konami would be so good looking. One of these days, they'll let you know, Zara. They'll be like, hey, thanks, Zara. I'll try to look a little better today. And they'll hit the card just for you.
Yeah, or they have me muted. I'm not quite sure.
And they could have did that. They could have just banned you too.
Yeah, as far as I know, I've heard from entities that Konami isn't the biggest fan of me, but that's okay. I did make fun of them on Twitter, like, quite regularly, but whatever. Yeah. Let's see. For any advice, let's see. Would you say that you were competitive the whole time, or did you start casual and then move into competitive?
Um, well, I mean, I think everybody starts casual where they're just kind of playing a deck that's fun. But I think the one thing, at least for me, that I remember is I think I think winning is fun. So there wasn't ever a time in Yu-Gi-Oh where I didn't take it seriously, and I was like I would get upset where I would lose, or I'd get upset where my opponents wouldn't understand a ruling. And this was back in the day when I would play I'd play casually at like a library with friends, but I would be the kid that took it seriously because I wanted to win every game. So I don't
Oh.
think there ever was a time where I wasn't like a stickler for the rules. I was always trying to get people to like to be better themselves. Like, like, why are you playing that crappy card? Or like, no, that's not how this works. Learn it this way. Like, if you're gonna play, like, play it right and everything. Like, I was that kid. So I don't think there's ever been a time where I haven't like been taking the game seriously and really like trying, like giving it all my all.
Okay. That's good. Yeah. I definitely. I mean, when I first started, I would like talk like I was in the anime. I'd be like, I activate Necro Valley, or I discard Gravekeepers commanded to add Necro Valley. It was really annoying. I was that kid. And then as I got more competitive into Yu-Gi-Oh! And I started to actually have quote unquote accomplishments, that's when I started to like be like, no, actually I want to win. And then I became really serious when I played, which I don't really like about myself. I kind of want to be more laid back, but I'm always on guard too because people will try to, push you type of a
Taking
thing.
things serious though, it's intimidating. It's a cool thing. It's like something like just to have like a certain stature when you're at the table. I feel like table presence, it could be completely different from your. I want to like what being like having a good table presence, being able to sit from somebody and like enjoy the game, being able to have like a good like conversation with somebody. I think is important too. But also being able to buckle down and being able to zero in, it's equally as important too. And it scares some people too. Like some people that are I get distracted easily. So like when people like I Pax one of the people I know where when he gets locked into a game, you can't get him out of it, bro. Like he's locked in and he's 100% Yu-Gi-Oh. And it's crazy though. Like I can get knocked off my game super easy if somebody says the wrong thing to me at the wrong time or something like that. I'll get frazzled. So there's a lot of things that I think can throw people off. But having like that intimidation factor is huge too. I don't think of that as a bad thing, Zara. That's sick.
Okay, I like that. Yeah, I have been described as intimidating by people at my locals, and at first I was like, kind of hurt. I was like, but I'm so nice. But then I was like, wait, this is dope. Fear me. Fear me.
Yeah, exactly. It's the coolest thing ever to be feared.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, after like playing people multiple times, like that Sourceful player, every week we are at table 1 going against each other type of a thing. And now it's like we kind of like built rapport, like because like our first interaction, I picked up his deck to shuffle it, and he got kind of mad because I guess I was a little rough. So I just apologized and said, why don't I tell you how to shuffle and cut, and you do it for me, type of a thing. And then we kept playing, and then he beat me last night, and we just had like a good discussion about the cards, and it was just like a really positive experience. So yeah, I think there's like a moment where you kind of develop that mutual respect with your opponent, because I think initially people are like, oh, she's a girl, like we don't know what she is, they try to take advantage, they lie, they cheat, blah 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 blah, but like now I've reached a point where it's like, I'm a serious player, I'm not someone that you can just easily beat. Unless you summon Protos, then yes, I am. And there's that mutual respect. Yeah, mutual respect now, I think.
Yeah, and that's the thing that you get to build with people that you play with on a constant basis. Like everybody at my locals knows me. I'm able to like bullshit with everybody. But when you're sitting across at a tournament from somebody you don't know, like again, giving off a table presence that you want to perceive is very important too. And if yours is intimidation, as people would say, that's a huge one. Play that to your favor. Yeah, I for most people say like, yo, oh my god, bro, that pack. Every time somebody sits across from me, he's like, yo, you can't believe you got the buy, bro. I can't believe you got the buy. Man, I'm better than a buy. Man, cut me some slack. So, yeah. See, and that's something that works in my favor. People see how I play in the progression series. Oh, they don't know. I mix them up when I play them in the current format.
Oh, yeah. I know there was a conflict from a pro player who I shall not name, who said something bad about you based on progression, which I was very shocked because I I really liked that guy. I thought he was really nice, and I thought it was not cool what he said.
I mean, in retrospect, I won't say it too, but like I don't take it personally or anything like that. I definitely think I overplayed it. I wasn't trying to be mean to it, but no, I think I overplayed it. No.
Yeah.
He's a cool guy though. I don't have any ill will against anybody.
That's good. Yeah, it's that good sportsmanship type of a thing. But yeah. Yeah. Okay, so we're getting close to time. So before I ask the last question, I'm wondering if you have any questions or anything you want to talk about.
So I want to know what's next for Zara, 2022, going into the new year. Got a top or few under your belt? You're feeling good, Zara. What is next on your docket?
Okay, honestly, you want my honest opinion?
Yeah, I want to be either something regarding competitive play or your content. Tell me, what's up?
Okay, chat, please don't make fun of me for what I'm about to say, because it's very difficult for me to say. But the YCS is this weekend, and I really want to top. I have never felt so confident in my deck like before. I feel very confident in my playstyle. I think I have really good side deck. I think that I actually have a really big opportunity to do it. And I just have to make sure that, I call judges when opponents do things sketchy. Not be afraid. If a judge says something I don't agree with, challenge. Like, it's really, like, the things that happen on tournaments that are difficult for me is I get tilted. Because people will piss me off. Largely intentionally. So I just have to keep my head in the game, because if I can keep a clear head, then I think I can top. I really believe I can.
I think you can too. Yeah, being confident is half the battle, Zara. So the one thing that I'll say is, let me tell you a story about, what day is it? It's Thursday today, right? Yeah. Let me tell you about yesterday, actually. I just had a local yesterday, and I'll tell you about one of my friends that got frustrated playing. And this is the thing, this is the thing, when you face somebody on the remote to YCS, you're never going to talk to them again, Zara. So don't be afraid to, give them a rough time if they're trying to, get around on you. But here's what happened yesterday. I'll leave you off with the story, okay? Yesterday, my friend, he was playing against an opponent, and of course, everybody knows everybody at locals. He was having a difficult time trying to understand this ruling and how something worked with, Forbidden Droplet and the number F0 Utopia guy. So he was in a pretty bad position. It was going into time limit. He had just gotten Forbidden Dropleted for his life savings. He's not looking good. It's not looking good for him. So he's frustrated and he can't figure out how this ruling works or something. We're all trying to explain it to him. He gets frustrated and he concedes the match. He's just like, I don't even care. Forget it. I'm tired of it. Whatever. So he just scoops and he's frustrated. He leaves. He had game on board. All he had to do was put the card into attack position, literally attack and drop the Alistair from his hand to boost, and he had game just from time limit. But he was so frustrated with everything else going on and not understanding this rolling, feeling like he's in a losing position. He just didn't see that. So, and I tried to talk to him about it afterwards. I was like, man, what happened, bro? Why'd you let that do that? And he blew it off. He didn't want to talk to it. So I don't know if there's exactly a big moral to it. But, the thing that I'm trying to emphasize is that, don't get distracted about everything else going on. Just keep, the match at hand and stuff, too. And like I said, the person that you're playing against, Zara, you're never going to talk to them again. So if they try to give you a rough time, again, your table presence, just making sure that you can get through the game, keep that in mind too. Well, I'm trying to think of the best way to put it. It's just, I guess, don't let people step on you, because there's like I said, there's no reason. you're not gonna. I don't know what I'm trying to say, Zara. Regardless, you'll do well tomorrow. I can tell.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. You just gotta keep your head level. Just focus on the game. Focus on the time. Focus on the opponent. I'm just traumatized from how many bad experiences I've had that I have to go in and be prepared. Because that's definitely happened to me, where I've just been so tilted, I just scoop when it's I didn't need to do that. But yeah. Yeah. And then the other thing I really, really want this year, I want to be a Twitch partner. I am trying really freaking hard. Trying to sort out my schedule. I just started a new job, but I know I need to make a consistent schedule. It's just hard because, these tournaments happen on weekends when I'm supposed to be streaming. But, I still need to do the tournaments, and I I really, 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 really want to be Twitch partner, and I think I can do a really great job. It's just a matter of getting the numbers. So that's my other goal.
Both of those goals are very obtainable, Zara. Definitely, 100%.
Yeah.
Like, I just, no problem at all. Again, it's just something you got to put some time into streaming and everything. I have no doubt as long as you meet the requirements, you'll hit partner status. That's just something I guess you got to get with due time. But yeah, no, definitely both of those topping. 100%, I think you can do extremely well this weekend. Just keep a level head too. If you get like heated or anything, shoot me a text. Probably won't be doing much. And then yeah, a partner. Oh my God, partner's easy. Just keep streaming, Zara. You'll do fine.
Yeah, definitely. One aspires to be as upbeat as Gage, I think is the perfect conclusion to this podcast. Thank you so much. It was very, very, very nice to speak with you and hang out with you. I really enjoy your presence.
Always is. Thank you for having me on.
Chat, can we get some emotes for Gage? And Gage, tell us how we can find you in case that's not already obvious.
If you want to find me, you can find my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/Nim Nim. I don't have a schedule, but I stream literally just whenever I feel like it. It's mostly like every other day. I actually am going to be live probably right after this. I'm going to mix up Pack. I think he owes me a game here. But yeah, you can catch me on Twitch there. You can catch me on YouTube at Nim Nim and Twitter and Instagram at Nim Nim as well. Please follow me on Twitter, bro. My Twitter, I be sharing some heat. Sometimes I be sharing some heat.
Yeah, everyone go follow Nim Nim for sure. Yeah, Twitter's great. I mean, that's how I met you and Joseph and Farfa, and it's kind of like nuts to think about. Like, I'm almost at 10,000 Twitter followers, and I don't know why. So
Earned it.
Okay, sweet. All right. So those of you at home, this is also on Spotify and other podcasts. In theory, I don't freaking know. I will be on top. You know what? After this stream, I'm gonna sort out the podcast stuff. But we are on podcasts. And please like and subscribe and comment below who you think I should have on this podcast next. And yes, thank you very much. Bye.